My father suddenly fell very ill and had to be rushed to the hospital. Because of this, I couldn't go on our honeymoon as planned. I needed to stay by his side. But my husband suggested I still go alone. I was really looking forward to the trip. But now, it seemed like it wasn't meant to be. Mark thought it was fine for me to go solo. But who would go on a honeymoon by themselves? Then, out of nowhere, something unexpected happened. My father-in-law, who was supposed to be in the hospital, showed up in front of me. "Why are you here, Dad?" I asked, bewildered. "Let me introduce myself. I'm Sarah. Mark and I have been together for 5 years, and this summer, he finally proposed." Those 5 years felt like a long journey. About a year into our relationship, we started visiting Mark's parents regularly, and he also met my parents, who live far away. But he always said, "Let's wait until things settle at work," never committing to a wedding date. Recently, he even joked, "Why change anything?" This made me anxious. "Mark, I'm turning 30 soon. If you can't be honest with me, we might need to reconsider everything." That's when Mark finally proposed. Our families were close, and we had already discussed everything from wedding plans to honeymoon locations. All that was left was to make it all happen. We decided on a small, intimate wedding with only close friends and family. The honeymoon was the last thing to arrange. Mark planned to spend time with his parents the day after the wedding. Meanwhile, I had dinner with my parents, who had come into town, and then headed home by myself. I packed our bags for the honeymoon and sent Mark a text before bed. "Mark, you did great today. I'm all set for our honeymoon tomorrow. I'm so excited to go to Italy." But I didn't hear back. I assumed he must have been exhausted from the wedding and had fallen asleep. I hoped he wouldn't sleep through our flight the next morning. I felt uneasy, but eventually drifted off. The next morning, I received a call from Mark. "Sarah, something's really wrong," he said quickly when I answered. "My dad collapsed, and he's in the hospital. You'll need to go on the honeymoon without me." "What? What happened?" "He seemed fine at the wedding yesterday." I was stunned. "I don't know what happened. Sarah, I need to stay with him, but you should still go on your honeymoon alone." "Are you serious? If your dad's sick, I can't just leave." "Who goes on a honeymoon by themselves?" I was in disbelief. I asked which hospital he was at, but Mark wouldn't tell me. "If I tell you, you'd just want to visit him, right?" "Of course, I would." "Sarah, Dad knows how much you've been looking forward to Italy. He insists you should still go. Please respect his wishes. I can't enjoy the honeymoon with everything going on. Will you join me once things settle?" "Absolutely. I'll be there as soon as things calm down here. Please go as planned. I'll be at the hospital soon, so I won't be able to answer your calls. Talk later." "Wait," I tried to stop him, but he hung up before I could say more. I immediately called back, but his phone was off. I didn't even know which hospital he was going to, so I couldn't rush to be with my father-in-law. As I stood there feeling helpless, the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, I couldn't believe my eyes. There he was, my father-in-law, standing at the door. He was supposed to be in the hospital after collapsing. "Are you okay? Your legs, they're working," I stammered, feeling like I was seeing a ghost. "What do you mean?" My father-in-law looked confused. "Are you feeling all right?" "I had a bit too much to drink at the wedding yesterday, but I'm fine now, sober as a judge. I drove here after dropping Mark off." "After dropping Mark off?" "Yeah, you're going on your honeymoon, right?" I dropped him off at the station, but I realized I should have come to pick you up too. "Let me take you to LaGuardia." I was completely confused. My father-in-law, who was supposed to be in the hospital, had dropped Mark off at the station. None of this made sense. Then it hit me. He mentioned LaGuardia, but we were supposed to fly out of JFK, not LaGuardia. "You said LaGuardia, but we're flying to Italy, not Alaska," I pointed out. "Oh, right, that's what I thought too." I was surprised when Mark told me this morning that we changed our plans and are going to Alaska instead. "Alaska?" The more he said, the more confused I became. "Mark said we're going to Alaska?" "Yeah, he did. He left a note in the car." My father-in-law pulled out a note from Mark, with the name of an inn in Alaska and a flight from LaGuardia to Anchorage on it. That's when everything started to make sense. "Can you take me to LaGuardia, then?" "Of course. Traffic's not too bad. We'll get there around the same time Mark's train arrives. Thank you so much. As we drove, my mind raced with thoughts about Mark's strange behavior. I'd find out the truth once I saw him at the airport. I thanked my father-in-law as I entered the terminal. At the Alaska Airlines check-in, I spotted Mark right away. He was with another woman, acting cozy and picking drinks. My worst suspicions were confirmed. Mark had been cheating on me. Maybe it started when we were living together. His hesitance to marry me may have been because of her. And now, he was not only having an affair but also taking her on our honeymoon. I walked up to him boldly. Mark, shocked to see me, froze. Sarah, what are you doing here? Same question to you. Why are you, who should be with your dad, here? I just came to buy some things. Some things? Did you come all the way to LaGuardia just to buy drinks? Yeah, Dad wanted some specific airport water. That's funny, because I was just with your father. Huh? Your dad picked me up in his car. He seemed perfectly fine, which was a surprise. Oh, right after we talked. He felt better. He's always been strong. Mark stuck to his story, but I could tell he was getting nervous. So, who's this woman? Where were you two planning to go? She's the nurse who cared for Dad. We're checking out a rehab center for him in Alaska. Your excuses are getting hard to believe, I sighed, my head spinning. Enough, your lies are giving me a headache. It's not a lie, she's really my dad's. Mark was cut off by a voice from behind me. I turned to see my father-in-law standing there. I thought you went home, I said. I had a feeling something wasn't right. Sarah, so, I parked the car and followed you. Looks like I was right. Mark's nervousness was evident when he saw his father. His lies weren't going to work. My father-in-law asked sternly, "Who is this woman?" Before Mark could answer, the woman spoke up. "I'm Sarah, Mark's wife," I said. Mark quickly hushed me, covering my mouth. "What are you saying? Stop pretending. Mark, you don't love your wife. Just divorce her," I said with confidence. "What? No, don't say that," Mark snapped. "Why should I listen to you? You promised you'd leave your wife for me. That's why you picked me over her today, isn't it?" I confronted him. "It's because you threatened me. You told me if I didn't go to Alaska with you today, you'd expose us," Mark said defensively. "I see. So, you were cheating on me?" I asked, my tone cold. Amy shot me a glare and fired back. "It's not cheating. Mark and I are serious. He never wanted to marry you." At that point, I didn't have the energy to argue anymore. "Fine, do whatever you want." I turned and walked away, my father-in-law beside me, as we left the airport. 5 days later, Mark returned home. The doorbell rang, and I spoke to him through the intercom. "Sarah, can you let me in? The door's locked." "Oh, I changed the locks." "You changed them? Why didn't you tell me?" "I don't want someone I don't trust to have a key to our home." "Someone you don't trust? Are you talking about me?" "Who else? I've got the divorce papers ready, so just sign them." "Let me in first. We can talk about this." I kept the chain on the door and slipped the papers through the crack. "There's nothing to discuss. Once you sign these, you can leave." "Don't be so angry. I've broken up with Amy." "What? Why?" "She was awful. I only went to Alaska because she threatened to expose our affair. The trip was miserable. She complained non-stop. I told her I wouldn't divorce you. Please, just let's end this." "I don't care about your breakup with her. I'm asking for a divorce, whether you agree or not." "Don't say that. Are you upset because we didn't go to Italy?" "It's too late for that, but if you want to go now." "Are you serious? You think I'd want to go anywhere with you after what you did? You canceled our honeymoon to go on a trip with your mistress. There's no reasoning with you. Sign the papers and this too." I handed him another document through the crack. "What's this?" he asked. "It's an alimony and cancellation fee agreement for our honeymoon. My lawyer prepared it while you were away. I'm telling you, I don't want a divorce. You're the one pushing for it. Why do I have to pay alimony? I'm done trying. You've already made your choice, and now there are consequences. You don't get to decide when things end. You also owe for the honeymoon cancellation. We lost that money because of your lies. You told me to go alone. You chose not to go. How could I go alone? And you lied about your father being ill just to cover up your affair. I couldn't go, not when I knew the truth. I wanted to go to Italy with you, but Amy threatened me. I didn't want to lose my job. Amy threatened your job? Yes. If she says she'll expose something, she does it. This is all her fault. Amy certainly had a reputation for being unpredictable. After all, she had the nerve to directly introduce herself as Mark's girlfriend to his wife. But strangely, I felt a sense of relief. Mark's actions would catch up with him, even without my interference. Now, I just needed him to sign those papers. Feigning concern, I asked, "Are you sure it's safe for you to be here?" "What do you mean? You broke things off with Amy, right? Isn't she angry?" "Of course she's angry, but I'm done with her." "Maybe you're fine, but what about Amy? Knowing her, she might show up at your office and cause problems." "Yeah, that would be a nightmare. I need to go to the office and handle this." "Sarah, can you pass me my company key card?" "This one?" I showed him his key card. "Yes, that's it." I stepped back as Mark reached for it through the gap in the door. "I'll give you the card, but only after you sign the divorce papers and the payment agreement. Have you made up your mind? Amy might beat you to the office." "All right." Mark sighed and signed the documents, passing them through the crack. "Is that it? Now give me the key card." I handed him the card, and he rushed off to his office. I went to the courthouse to submit the divorce papers and handed the signed payment agreement to my lawyer. It felt good to have the financial matters settled. The next day, Mark called me, frantic. "Hello, Sarah. What do you want? We're legally strangers now. There's nothing to talk about." "Wait, don't hang up," Mark begged. I was curious, so I listened in. "What's going on?" "I was called into a meeting today. The board knows about my affair, even though I tried to stop Amy. Isn't that strange?" "Oh, I told them." "You told the board?" "Yeah, I felt bad because they came to our wedding, and we divorced so quickly. Since you were caught up with Amy, I thought I should explain." "Just the board? You told everyone at my office?" "Yeah, when I told them you picked a trip with someone else over our honeymoon. They were shocked. But now, how do I face everyone?" "You don't need to hide anymore. Isn't that a good thing?" "Don't mess with me. You've ruined everything." "I should be saying that to you. I wish I could get back the 5 years I wasted on someone like you." I paused, and he went silent. "Why don't you just be with Amy? If she really cares, wouldn't she support you even if you quit your job?" "No, being with her just brings more problems. The only person who can support me is you, Sarah." "Well, being with you only brings me problems. If you want support, maybe think about how your actions affect others." "Yeah, I regret it. Can we try again?" "No chance. Maybe it's time for you to reflect, start fresh, and try dating again. Oh, and maybe find a job first." "Sarah, please don't leave me. You betrayed me first. You'll have to live with that regret." I ended the call. Afterward, Mark went to his parents' house a few times to ask for money, but my father-in-law, who had been used as an excuse for Mark's affair, was furious and cut ties with him. Mark became uncomfortable at work, eventually quitting. He struggled to find a new job and is now barely getting by, working part-time at a convenience store. As for me, I moved into a new home with the alimony from Mark. Even though I changed the locks, it still felt odd to be living in a place he knew so well. Mark's parents helped me move. Perhaps they saw it as a way to make up for their son's mistakes. I still keep in touch with them and share meals from time to time. I may never get back the 5 years I spent with Mark, but I'm determined to find someone better next time. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Stay stunned.